Today we are going to do Vic Rattlehead from Megadeth. I am very excited and intimidated to do this. Well, I mean, I already did this, but I was. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but you won't need any tooth decay or contacts, so that's kind of nice. You will need to get a pair of cheap sunglasses, one with just the one lens that kind of crosses over. You guys will see the one that I got in your, I dismantled mine. I just got a cheap $10 pair from Walgreens. Yeah. So, I also took a poll on my Instagram just asking you guys like what type of looks or content you guys wanted to do. It didn't need to specifically be FX makeup, and I got a lot of feedback from that, so my content is going to kind of switch up every now and again. Yeah, so make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to see my future videos. Yeah, I guess that's all, so we will just start in with the look. Starting off with this stretchy cord, we are just going to cut this down. This is a little bit of a construction project, and you absolutely don't have to do this, but I'm doing this just to create his ears, which are just little, I'm not sure, really gadgety things with chains coming from them. I didn't have any like fake plastic chains, so we're just using this to construct some chains. And once you get the size that you want, just make sure to cut all the pieces down, folding it in half and then cutting them. Kind of makes equal parts and makes them all even. So I just did that until we had 8 little pieces that were all the same length. We're going to take some duct tape and we are going to just kind of put those together as little rings for our chain. And these are press-on nails, guys. This was so hard. The things we do in quarantine. So yeah, I just link these together like a real chain and then just kind of mend them together so that they jingle like this. We're going to do 4 links on one side and then 4 links on the other. And you don't need all the excess. And I apologize if my hands go out of the frame every now and again. I'm not used to doing things like this, so it's going to take some getting used to. Alright, so once you have your 4 little link chains, we are going to move on to this actual like ear part that it's connected to. So I'm taking just like a roll of toilet paper that I've obviously already used. And we're just going to take 2 sizes that are, basically the same, just so that they're symmetrical. See, yeah, perfect. And then we are going to close one of the sides with some more duct tape. We're just going to make snips all around it so that we can push them down and it will still be a circle and not have too many like poke outs. And these don't have to be perfect. But you do want to get most of the top, and I did have a little window poking out, so just another layer. And then you're going to want to take some more duct tape and just go around. And then you're going to cut those just so that you can push it down, kind of follow the shape. And it is kind of easier if you don't use one whole piece just to go around the whole thing, because then it will bunch up. I mean, you don't need it to be perfect, but it's just easier to do this way. I'm sorry if you can hear outside. My room is so hot, so I had to open a window. And then we're just going to push these down. Honestly, the second layer too just makes it a little more sturdy, so it's not so flimsy, because after all, it is just a toilet paper roll. And we are going to do that for the other ear. Just do the same thing. Fold these little pieces down. Again, doesn't need to be perfect. And then a second piece. And doing the exact same thing we did with the first piece. And then we're going to wrap some duct tape all around that as well. I think I did get this all in one piece, but it was actually harder to do, so I recommend doing the two pieces, because when I started pushing them down, it was like all of them wanted to go down at once. But yeah, once you get those, you just want to roll up some duct tape and then just make these little hinges so that the chain can stick onto them. You want to duct tape these down as well. Just little snippets so that it can adhere to the circular shape. And you're going to do the same thing to the other side, and you want this to raise up a little bit. And then we're going to snip these so that it holds on to the actual hinge, and then also the top. That way it's just a little sturdier. And we're going to add the chains. I did forget to add the chain onto the first one, but it's okay, I go back into it. So we're just going to do the same thing and just throw the chain on there. Yeah, see, I'm doing the other one. Just connect those. Perfect, so you have his two little ears, and now we are just going to take some makeup. I didn't have any like silver paint, but this was a close enough color that I just decided to use this to make the color more chain-like and match the duct tape. And I just go over this with this. It is also easier to do it once these are made, because this stuff does rub off. So if you are working with it, when the links are already painted, that stuff is just going to rub off on your hands, and you're going to have to repaint them all over again. So definitely paint them after they're constructed, if you're using this stuff anyways. And then I just kind of spit up here because you guys don't really need to watch me paint all of these. I'm pretty sure you get the gist. Moving on to the next one, we do the exact same thing. Just paint, paint, paint. This is a Revlon eyeshadow, by the way. I'm not exactly sure what the name of it is, but it's like kind of a cream shadow on one side, and then like a glossy, not glossy, well yeah, glossy glitter liner on the other side. I love this thing, but I hardly ever wear it because I always forget about it. Just hitting any of the spots that you missed. Look at all the different angles. Perfect, and now we are moving on to the beautiful face. Just kidding. And per usual, we're gonna use the plastic Harris Teeter Bag bald cap. Just throwing that in a pony, taking that below the hairline just to make sure everything is tucked in. And we are actually going to pull these tabs off and keep our ears underneath. We are not going to use our ears or pull our ears out at all for this look. And I was obviously not taking my time here, as you can tell. So just go around the edge of the bald cap, making sure everything's laid down. Flush to your skin. And look at that, I got an Elmer's glue stick. I was like, I cannot put this wax in my eyebrows anymore because every time I took it off, it would just like stick to my face and I kept breaking out. And I don't know if that's the actual wax fault or it's just because I've been putting like way too much of this stuff on my face too frequently. But yeah, stopped by Walgreens when I got my glasses for this look and decided to get some Elmer's glue sticks. Here, I'm just mapping out and then putting some adhesive on my jawline. He has a pretty prominent chin, so we are just going to lay that down just to get a base, and then we are going to seal it up with some more latex. Just making everything pretty sealed up. Making the shape more into a jawline. We just want a more pronounced jaw since he is just bone. And hitting the other side too. I don't know why I decided to start with my chin. I felt like the cheekbones would kind of block my vision, but then I was like, I mean, I'm looking in the camera anyways, but I don't know, maybe it would bother me for like my peripherals. I'm not sure, but I look like a little latex Santa Claus for a little while. Yeah, so just laying this down. Oh, there's Santa. That's like a baby Santa beard though. And then we're just going to put some cotton on maybe some little bald spots or some sparse places. And lay that down with some latex as well, just building as we go. Again, the wetter you keep your sponge, the easier it will be to work with. And then we're going to work on that chin. He has a very defined sort of, I don't want to say butt chin, but that's the only thing I can think of to describe it. So we're just going to build that chin up. Throw down some more latex just to seal it. Dab, dab, dab. Just constructing the chin a little more. This looks so funny right now, but it actually does come together, I promise. You just want to get a good base on there. Make sure the edges are pretty good, and then you want to pinch the very bottom just so that you get the line or crease down the middle. And then we are going to work on the cheekbones. I know the chin doesn't look symmetrical right now, but we're actually going to come back to it. We're just letting it get a little tackier. Alright, so laying this down. And you really just want to go with your bone structure. If you have to feel around your face just to find where it naturally hits so you can build on top of that, absolutely do it, because it's going to look more natural and more fitted to your face. And I did end up pushing it up a little. I peeled it up from the bottom and just decided to lay it down. So don't think just because it's stuck to your face you can't move it. You absolutely can. It's still mobile. And we're just going to make that protrude a little further out. So we're going to lay more latex on top of that. And then more cotton. And then we're just going to hit the other side. Again, the more symmetrical, the better. I do end up having to pull this up just a little bit on this side too. But again, no worries. This stuff is very manageable. We're just sealing it. Here I decided to push it up a little further on my face, just for it to look a little more natural to my bone structure. And then we're going to adhese that. Now, taking some more cotton, we're going to build this size up as well, just like the other side. You're just kind of mirroring everything. Then I go back to the chin just to make it a little more symmetrical. I'm going to put a fat piece of cotton right in front of that ball that we created on the bottom, just to make it a little more 3D and realistic. Just kind of form that into the shape that you want. And do the same to the other side. Just trying to make it look as symmetrical and even as possible. Sealing up that side. Just making sure everything looks pretty good. Again, if there's any spots that you missed, just hit it up with some more cotton and latex. There's no shame in the game. He does have some pretty prominent cheekbones, so you are going to have to build these up pretty well. But also, they're actually going to help hold up our glasses, so you want the glasses to be able to catch on them. They look fabulous, by the way. And just like that, you're ready to go out. Just kidding. Sealing this up. And now we're moving on to the nose. We're going to take just a little piece of cotton and just kind of not exactly how to say this really. We're just going to make the top of our nose just a little thinner to make it look like bone. You don't want a huge piece. You don't want it to come out too far because we are actually going to sink this nose. And then we are going to make a little loop and stick it to one side of that little piece of cotton in the middle. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side of the nose. Just that loop and stick it to it. And you guys have a cute little pig snout. And you really want to pinch that middle piece just so it forms like a tiny little piece of bone. But you can do that throughout the process. You don't have to get it tiny, tiny right now because we do want to be able to form the sides as well. But just keep coming back to it and pinching every so often. You're going to make sure that that's exactly where you want it. It looks like a pig nose for a while, so don't be worried. And then we're just going to take this little U shape of cotton, just kind of structure the top of it. That way we kind of have a piece that connects the bone to our skin. And just pull down, squeeze, pull down, squeeze. Just keep shaping until you find the nose that you're looking for. And just taking some more cotton, just putting it on top of that bone, just building. And then just kind of forming that into the cheekbones. We're just really trying to build a skull on top of our face. Sorry, the wind outside is picking up and you can kind of hear it through the window. And just sealing that up with some more latex all around. And now we are taking latex and we are going to build some teeth. So you want to get these pretty saturated and you just want to play with them until they get to an actual tooth shape. Here is my front tooth. Kind of looks like a little piece of candy corn, but that's just because the latex is wet. And when it dries, it actually looks like a regular tooth. I'm just very messy because I want these to stick. But again, your latex dries clear, so don't worry about it. As long as you get the shape, just stick those on. And I kind of fast forward. I don't show you guys every tooth because I'm not showing you exactly how to shape them because you can follow your own teeth. Yeah, so here we go. Most of our teeth are made. I don't think that I did a specific number. I just kind of went until I was like, okay, that's enough. And now I am going to make kind of the gum bone with just a little piece of latex and cotton and rolling that. And then I just shove it right up and around those teeth. Beautiful. You don't want this to go completely across. Just if you need to reference a picture of a skeleton, then absolutely do that. But just to where the teeth are is really how it goes. And again, we're going to use toilet paper and unply those pieces. We are conserving, guys. I know I say that a lot, but it's so true. Laying that down. We're just going to create a little threshold just so that we can paint and kind of smooth everything over. We don't want it to be like super duper textured here. We kind of want everything to be pretty smooth. But don't get me wrong, we do want texture, just not maybe Eddie the Head texture or Heartbeats texture. So just sealing that up. This is really just going to be a base for our paint. And just building that nose up even more. Just so it looks a little more skull-like. You don't want anything laying on those teeth, and I know I get it a little right there, but yeah, just lift it up. And I wasn't happy with the way one side, it was just a little thinner, so I just added a little more cotton. No biggie, you can always build. Just throw down some more cotton and latex. Smooth it out with your fingers, smooth it out with the sponge. I got it a little too close to my eye and I did start to water up, so just be careful and aware of that. I've used this stuff 100 times and I still just, I'm like, no, I'm fine. All right, so we are taking a little piece of toilet paper and just throwing it over the chin too, just to smooth everything out. And kind of get a color base going, because we don't use a lot of face makeup for this. We actually kind of like to use this latex color, I guess. It's like a yellowy bone color, which we're bones, so it's perfect. And now we're just going to create the bone wrinkle that he has above his forehead. I'm not sure how accurate this is on an actual skull, but he has it, so we're gonna build it. Try to make both sides even. Hit it with some latex. And we are going to create a shadow with our paint, so it's not that this part has to be perfect, and this part isn't really raised. I mean, it is, but it's not super raised like our cheeks or chin. Now we're just going to go over our head with some more toilet paper and latex. Just making sure everything is laid down. And then we go over it with some more. And we're just going to cover the front of the head. I know I am like constantly repeating myself, but I don't do the complete head just because, again, I do this at like 1 a.m. and I get done at 5. And I'm like, I'm not doing my whole head for a video when you can only see the front, and I'm just taking it off just to go sleep. So I'm just doing the front. But if you want to do your whole head, absolutely do that. You may need a friend or a mirror. Just getting the parts you can see. Doing the other sides too. Be careful for the teeth. You don't want to cover up those bad boys. You spent a lot of time making those. It would be so disappointing to cover them all up. Alrighty, and just getting the rest of the head. Throw some of the latex on top just to seal it up and establish a good color. We're going to go right over this part again just because I'm not happy with the coverage. Perfect. And we are using this also to create a little bit of texture. Again, not too much, but good basis. All right, so I totally didn't record doing the other side, but you're just going to roll up some duct tape and then use that to stick these ears on. I tried using latex to do it, and the latex just didn't want to make the duct tape stick, so no worries. And then we're just going to cover this excess duct tape with a little bit of toilet paper that we roll up and just circle around. It actually also creates a little bit of a sturdier surrounding for the ear. They're not even ears. I'm not really sure what to call them. I'm just going to keep calling them ears because I don't know what they are. And then we're just going to cover that in some latex as well, making it even more sturdy, just so you don't have an ear pop off. Make sure that they're pretty even. Now we are going to get to painting. We really only use the color black. I do have some white for like highlighting and just getting some mistakes that I did with the black, but the black is going to be your main color here. So we're just going to basically get all around the eyes, just because, yeah, see, the glasses, you don't want your eyes to be like half-assed because of the glasses. We're getting the inside of our nose, and this is where it goes from being a pig nose to a skull nose. And then we're going to do some shadowing, making some lines. Just throw some black in the hollows of our cheeks. And then we're going to do the edges of our teeth. I actually going with a smaller brush because this was just not doing it. Just get the shape of that nose. There's the hollows. You kind of want to brush a little over the teeth just to give it a little more depth and dimension so that it looks like they're more in the back of the mouth, but you don't want to like black them out. Shape the chin, the inside of our mouth. Well, the inner parts of our lips, I guess. And shade that little bone. Throw some in our temples. Smooth everything out. Yeah, so here I went between the teeth with this little brush that I have. I think it's meant for nails, but I was like, hey, this would be a great detail brush. So just get in between all of those little teeth and make sure that it's blacked out between the gum bone and our actual teeth, just so none of your skin is showing. And we're going to do the same for the bottom. Again, make sure to get in between each and every tooth. It just makes it look a little more realistic. Just getting a little bit more of the detail with this small little brush while you have it. And again, just kind of smoothing everything out with your finger gives it good shadow and depth. Smoothing it out. And then we're going to take this white cream and just hit and smudge that top bone, the cheekbones, anywhere there needs to be a highlight, or everything needs to be kind of just smudged, I guess, if you don't want too much of a thick, dark look. Like I used some right in the middle of the chin too, just because I didn't want his chin to be, that contoured, I guess, and the nose. Just hit any exposed skin color and be messy about it. Just do you. Just gonna make that nose a little more defined. Going over our eyes again, getting all those little pieces of skin, darkening the black around our eyes. Get anything that's smudged off since we did that first. Again, if you hit anything with black and you need to just erase it, just go over it with white. And you can really see it coming together. We're just going to seal it up a little bit more with some latex. Just put a little highlight on the teeth, but not too much. And then we have this hairspray silver color. I use this just to hit up the eyes, ears and the glasses, and you can just kind of smudge this all around. It works kind of perfect just because you can actually see through it. You don't want to touch it too much just because it does kind of wear off, but it works really great as a color that you can actually see through. And then you're just going to take some cotton, goop that up with some latex. And we are going to work on the bars that kind of connect his top part of his mouth to his bottom part. And then you're going to make these like backward or frontward, I don't know, 3 shapes. And then you are going to connect those with some latex to the top and bottom. And I rolled this in that hairspray too, so that they're a little silvery. And there are going to be 4 of these, so you're going to have 2 on each side. And make sure there's a little crinkle in the middle because it just makes it look a little more like him. I thought about using the same cord that I used for my chains, and it wasn't going to work out because they didn't have the right shape. So this was the best plan for this. Again, 2 on each side, so you should have 4 total. Letting those glasses sit for a minute. Beautiful. And gooping on some more of that latex. You can tell how much I used on that cotton. And we are just going to put that right in the middle of our nose just to sturdy the glasses. And I just smudged some black paint on, but again, we can just use some white to erase it. Works awesome. Yeah, see, perfect. Never happened. And just letting that little part on our nose get tacky so that the glasses will stick. And then we're just gonna stick them on there. Perfect. hair is just not having it today. What can I do? D-unit. If I put it up. Oh, hi. I wish I could see. Oh, yeah, you can definitely tell how dirty those are. What up? Yeah. You need some toilet paper, baby? I got you. Gross. Meow, 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 meow. Okay. My stomach is always so loud. Yeah. Oh, also, this is like the first day I've worn a bra. What else is there to do? Like, I don't even... Condition chill, bruh. Yes. I don't use these for my face. Oh! I don't think I have anything else to share. I can't wait for this video to be over so I can take this bra off because I don't like wearing them anymore. Okay, I need beer.